at the actual templates that we sent for the websites and doing up like a little bit of a mock. Here's a template, that's what it sort of looks like with the logo on it, with the style, with the font that we've got. I think from our perspective, it's just like go to the home page and see what it would look like with our branding and our font and the style guide that we're utilising.
Did you fix your issue you had yesterday?
Oh yeah, it was all sorted. Anytime there's a fire, mate, I come running. The fire hose. They call me Fireman Brett. Putting out fires faster than they start. You're never going to go through, especially if you're building a business, multiple businesses, there's going to be multiple different fires, there's going to be multiple different things that's going on in your head, like, oh, I need to do that, I need to finish that, oh shit, I need to do this. Doesn't matter what project management system you have and how tight it is, you've still got to work the system. I think it's just good for people to know, and something that, you know, I like to share with my clients especially, is that just know that the fires are coming, you know, and it's you know, a firefighter goes to firefighter training to prepare for fires. You know, I think business owners need to go and prepare for how do you handle these type of situations when things arise, when it might feel uncomfortable to you, you not feel like you're meeting a particular time frame, or the expectations you set for the day haven't been met. It can sidetrack a lot of people and it can railroad a lot of people. So it's just always good just to, again, one of the biggest things we do is like to reconnect, reflect on the current situation, and just always come back to ground yourself and go, okay, there's a whole lot of shit. The building's burning around me right now. What's the best step for me to take now to start eliminating that? Episode,
Totally.
we got 13.
Not that we ever do that.
It's going up today, mate. Look at that.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
That was the episode from last week. You better check it on the line, mate.
On the line.
On the line, we'll tag you. Come in here, bud. Because the key thing here is, I mean, we could do so many different things to build your brand, build the awareness, etc., get people in these events. But it ultimately, again, comes down to, let's get that final vision of what you'd like, and then we can reverse engineer. Awesome, mate. Glad you appreciate it. Yeah, it's a great tool to definitely utilise. All the best ideas come in the shower, that is for sure. Keep us posted with how you go with it. Cool, mate. While you do have the videographer, it does make sense to actually film the both of them, but let's concentrate on, you know, one of them first and foremost. Get that set up, get everything built for that, and then it just becomes a matter of duplication, following the same processes, same systems. And that's the beauty of, you know, creating multiple products. The first one's always the hardest, in the sense of getting set up and ready for sale, and then, you know, the second, third, fourth, fifth. So I mean, we're up to about 12 products or something in one of our product lines, and each one just becomes a duplicate of the other, just with different branding and different messaging. So yeah, that's definitely what I would look to do, is film them both, park one, because there's a lot of synergy between both of them anyway. So that's what I would look, mate. Before you have that chat with her, go into it with a clear understanding of what it is you're going to deliver from a deliverable perspective, so she can actually make a decision then and there, instead of you know, going into it with the I'll figure it out at the end of the chat. Go into there with a bit of a game plan, which is extremely important. I think you've already got the process of what you're going to deliver. The key there would just be making sure that you can communicate that to her in an easy to understand fashion, because it could just be as easy for her to say, no, look, it's too hard, I'll just do what I already know. So I would make sure that you're prepared for that as well. If you need to throw some ideas to me, we can brainstorm that and make sure you've got a bit of a game plan going into the meeting in the last session. If you go into a meeting, if you go into any sales meeting or any sales pitch, whatever it is, or you're presenting a product or service to someone, you have to go into it prepared. You know, you need to know what's the actual end objective of this conversation. Now, it might not be to sell them into the program, it may be just to give them enough information that's going to get them excited about it. If that's all it is, you need to sit down and go, okay, this is the plan. Over this 30 minutes that I have with this person, what do I need to say? What do they need to know? What do they need to think? And what do they need to feel in order to achieve what we'd call our goal, right? It's just like playing a computer game. You know, you have different stages, different levels. It's like we're not trying to get to the end boss, to fight the big boss man. I'm making reference to Sega Master System there. Old, what was that game? Sega Master System? Alex the Kid. Oh, awesome game. Alex the Kid, right? You just got to take it stage by stage. In this case, I'm just talking to a client there, and she's got a client who's actually leaving her from a face-to-face perspective, but now they've sort of talked about the possibility of doing it online, and her message to me was, I'll talk to her about it in our last session. I'm like, well, get prepared before your last session so you can go into it with, okay, this is my presentation, this is what I've got, right? So the person can make a more mindful decision. A lot of the time, all we're trying to do is sell the next step. And if that next step for her at that meeting, which I would believe it would be, depending on the rapport, all of those things that they have, the next step would be, look, this is what it is. What we'll do is organise a time where we can actually sit down and we can go through it in more detail. So, or the objective might be get her to sign on the dotted line and commit to the next level of program. So you got to do it based on where you're at, where relationships are at, where the process is at. And that's why it's so important to have step-by-step processes, frameworks that you can work to. I'll need to sit down and map out what I'm going to need to know, what we're going to need to know, and then ask you those questions. And I'm also going to have to look at it from the perspective of, what sort of time is going to be needed to go into that. And the more info that we can have, the better we're going to be able to go, okay, this is what it's going to look like. From a deliverable perspective, we'll then be able to, after that, go, well, this is what it's going to require. This is what, the extra time, effort, energy needs to go into it. How does that look? And we can have that conversation then. Sometimes, you can integrate Dropbox with Workplace. Oh, stop it. Set up, might as well set it up. Just distracted. A client has got fires going on. So, you hear me talk about putting out our own fires and things pop up out of the ordinary, unexpected. You're going to get that with clients, and especially in the space that we're in, helping from a digital marketing perspective. And, we almost, at times, become their encompassing marketing team, that they would have to hire in-house. They've currently got something that's popped up out of the ordinary, outside of the scope of what we're doing originally, but it's something that needs to be done from their perspective. So we just need to figure that out. And what can easily happen is you can always start saying yes, 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 yes. For me, I always love to do the call where I'm getting clear, I'm getting exactly on the same page, I know exactly what needs to be done, but then be able to have time to think about it. And when I say think about it, it's more so just going through the actual severity, the scope of what really needs to be done. Because there's so many times where I've said yes to something and then I haven't realised the enormity of what I've just said yes to. So it's always good whenever you're faced with a situation where internally you sort of feel like, if you're feeling that I'm not really sure, feel free to say, look, I just need some time to think on that and I'll get back to you in the next couple of days. For me, as a people pleaser, I love to, make people happy. It can be a detriment in business sometimes because, you become a bit of a yes man. But one thing I've definitely learned over the last few years is being able to take your time and go, it's okay not to have to go yes, 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 yes to serve everyone. If you're in that situation where you think you need the money, you actually don't need the money. What you need is the mental clarity in your mind, which is far more important than the quick cash that may inject into your business. It's just, again, getting clear on what exactly it is that you're saying yes to and why you're saying yes. I got just the advice for that. He's basically come across a database of his target market, but they haven't actually subscribed to him, and I see it so often, so many people, I get spam emails, everyone gets spam emails. You don't want to play that game, you want to do it, congruent with what you've got. What I would do is I would actually send an email out on their behalf, directing them to a special, an opt-in for them to go and put their name and email onto then your database. So first things first is figure out when the last email was sent and what was it and how was it sent, those things. Because if you've just got 20,000 names and emails in an Excel sheet and you're trying to upload it and send it out, that is spammy. You can't do that. People buy lists off people from target markets, etc. But the key to all of that, and so you don't get blocked and all of those things, is to make sure that you know where the last send come from, what was sent, and send something of similar nature, like on behalf of that person. So I would check that first and foremost. What you can also do is you could upload that list to Facebook and create an audience, because that way you can then create ads and target messages to those specific people as well. That's always a really good one. It's actually numero uno, number one, when we bring on any new clients in regards to the digital agency side of things. It's what customers do you already have that you could put your messages already in front of. So that's what I would look at first and foremost.